Thank you. Your appreciation underwhelms me. Happy Thursday, everyone. Today is Halloween, and I'm really starting to panic. I need 3 more guys to fill out the ass of my Joy Behar costume. But everyone's getting dressed up. James Carville is going as a blind mole rat. Elizabeth Warren is going as one of her ancestors. Wow. Kamala Harris will be dressing up as a Hispanic, Black, Asian, Puerto Rican, Jamaican, Muslim, and Jewish woman. Hillary Clinton going as Monica Lewinsky with hopes to get laid. David Muir, Nora O'Donnell, and Dana Bash will all be going as journalists. And last but not least, Nancy Pelosi is going as herself. Nothing scarier than that. All right. So while Arnold Schwarzenegger endorsed Kamala Harris, legendary astronaut Buzz Aldrin endorsed Donald Trump. So, pretty similar stories. One landed on the moon, the other one landed on his maid. But you can see why Arnold went with Kamala. She said she would clean house if elected, and he can't resist a lady holding a mop. Last night, rioters descended on Los Angeles after the Dodgers won the World Series, where many of these rioters first learned that the Dodgers won the World Series.
That's such a great point.
It's just a coincidence. True, LA erupted into chaos with looters raiding a Nike store and a mob burning a bus. Things are so bad the Menendez brothers are now demanding to stay in prison. And President Biden bit a baby dressed as a chicken at a White House Halloween party. Well, now who's the cannibal? His doctor said they're just glad the baby wasn't dressed as a thermometer. So disgusting. But just a joke. So what do you do when somebody calls you garbage? Of course it matters if it's from someone whose opinion you value, like your spouse or your relative or that Chinese lap dancer I met in Croatia. But what if it's coming from this guy? I mean, this guy thinks you're garbage. The guy who didn't even acknowledge he had a grandchild because she came from the wrong side of the tracks. To him, she was garbage, which kind of makes him garbage. And yet Joe called Trump supporters garbage. And the next day, Trump showed up for a campaign event asking the media one question: how do you like my garbage truck?
How do you like my garbage truck? This truck is in honor of Kamala and Joe Biden. Joe Biden should be ashamed of himself if he knows what he's even doing. I hope you enjoy this garbage truck.
We enjoy it. So Joe calls Trump supporters garbage. Trump shows up for a campaign event in a garbage truck. I wonder what would happen if Biden had called them d***. Would Trump have showed up in this?
Yeah, he would.
You know he would.
He would.
So why does this moment matter? Well, first, the same media that went insane over a comedian's joke about a trash crisis in a U.S. territory now views Biden calling half the country garbage a hoax.
The very same news media that ignored all the times Donald Trump has called American citizens and American voters scum and garbage actually tried to turn Joe Biden's use of the word garbage into a controversial news story today.
He landed in Green Bay just a short time ago and then pulled this campaign stunt, speaking to reporters from a garbage truck. Proof that he and his supporters are giving no grace to a gaffe by President Biden, where he, in his explanation, inadvertently called Trump supporters garbage.
You see that? Inadvertently. Like that was inadvertent. Like when I inadvertently landed on that candlestick. But sure, the garbage line could be misconstrued.
Been there.
But do we owe them that grace, as Nora suggests? Hell no. After all, Biden rode in on the most divisive lie ever, the Fine People hoax, which was thoroughly debunked Worse, it was the tentpole hoax that initiated the Trump is Hitler narrative that they've been pushing ever since. It was divisive, destructive, and even when they knew it was false, they kept at it. So forgive me if I don't give a if Biden just got fine people hoaxed. What's good for the goose is good for the slander. So while Joe's biting babies, Trump is chewing up Kamala's campaign like a toddler dressed as a Big Mac. But there's a bigger problem. Whether you're called irredeemable, deplorable, or garbage, the rot is coming from the top. And it's undermining the fabric of the social contract. It's not team sport politics. I got no problems with tribes, allegiances, clubs, even cults. Hell, I had Scientologists as neighbors, and they were always willing to invite me over for a threesome. Because there was always a bedrock premise underneath it. It's the cheesiest phrase ever, love thy neighbor. It's corny because we get it wrong. When we hear love thy neighbor, we think of Ned Flanders offering a hi diddly ho neighborino to Homer. But love thy neighbor doesn't matter when things are good, only when it's bad. And if Kamala wins, you both may have to fend off roving gangs of transgendered Venezuelans with student loan debt. That societal agreement is no different than the First or the Second Amendment. They don't exist for hello and goodbye. It's for bad words and bad hombres, which means no matter who you root for, you're still neighbors. If you're a Yankees fan and you live next to a Red Sox fan, don't sit near each other at a game. Actually, you may both want to avoid both those cities. But you can still borrow the leaf blower, but then return the favor by leaving your blinds open when you undress. But love thy neighbor became immoral once radicals made the political personal. In the 60s, the left's most heralded voices declared that every relationship is one of power, between boss and worker, husband and wife, white and black, even me and my pool boy. I keep telling him someday I'll get a pool. Suddenly, the equality of connection turns vertical. It's no longer we're in this together. It's now who's on top. They changed love thy neighbor into love thy neighbor unless we disagree. The relationship is transactional, but not based on neighborly stuff. But now your neighbor won't talk to you if you're voting for Trump. Now, I know, do you really want a jerk like that in your life anyways? But that's where calling half the country Nazi garbage gets you. You end up in a place where it's harder and harder to return to loving one's neighbor when the media and their team calls them trash. My advice, get your lawn tools back before Tuesday.